Students, families, faculty, friends of the university here, and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you who have finished your studies, as I suppose, with great success, and will toss your hats in due time. But before this, you have to endure some speeches, not to forget my own one. So, what should and could I tell you in the meantime before you set out to whatever journey you have in mind for your life or already planned for? I think you all are quite aware of the fact that it was a great privilege for you to have been a student of the Jakobs University in Bremen. Why that? It's not only because of the academic standards and achievements. If we talk about studying at a university, there are two models of privilege. On the one hand, we see the model of a deeply rooted tradition. On the other hand, we see, especially here in Bremen, the type of a far-reaching modernity. When 15 years ago my daughter graduated in Oxford, the Vice-Chancellor began his speech with some introductory remarks in English and suddenly carried on by saying, "And from now on I will continue in Latin, as we have done for more than 900 years." I doubt that many of us, the students included, understood his Latin, not only because of his English accent, but nevertheless, the consciousness of some way being part of an unbroken and unadulterated tradition going back nearly 1,000 years was certainly a moving experience for all of us then. Nothing of this in Germany. The traditions of our universities have been severely shattered and corrupted in the years between 1933 and 1945. In fact, the German universities were amongst the first institutions which subordinated themselves to the Nazi regime, not least because the German, not to say Aryan professors, hoped soon to take over the chairs from their expelled Jewish colleagues. Our traditions cannot be restored. And in the years after 1968, even the good which was left was interred with their bones. Looking at our state-run university system, we still only can be astonished what they, under these circumstances, and as underfinanced, as we say, Massenuniversitäten, are still able to achieve. As we have done since over 900 years, this is no German option anymore, not at least for further 900 years, maybe 12 of them are already over. Therefore, instead of an impossible restoration, we have to look out for a decisively modern model of university, like the one we see here at the Jakobs University, which is not as easy as it sounds, as we can see here in Bremen too. You all are the one who took part in this experiment and in the same instance supported its great success. Let me once again, please, indulge as well in some decent envy towards you, as in a certain nostalgia. In my younger years, I too was privileged to receive a first-class education and academic training. But what a difference compared to the conditions you experienced here. My school thought of itself as a part of a worldwide network, but the maximum of foreign experience I was exposed to before leaving school in 1963 were just 6 weeks of summer holidays in Britain and a French holiday guest back home at our family farm. When my elder daughter told me in 1997 she would like to study abroad, I responded by saying, well, 2 semesters certainly will be fine, until I realized that she intended to pursue the whole of her studies abroad. This rather no way was an option for us in the 60s and 50s. Both of my daughters, in and after school, and certainly during their university life, grew up in a network of friends of quite some nations and traveled to much more countries than their parents did until now in their lifetime so far. And now, some 20 years later, it was up to you to study in a truly and positively cosmopolitan environment. And even my former school, which I now am responsible by some historical accident for, today counts students at least from 40 nations. Why is this all so important? It is not only to be taken as an vademecum for professional success in a globalized world, but much more so as an element of peaceful development and stability in future. You are the generation who, by your own experience, not only here, are not and should not be beset by nationalistic, racist, and social prejudice and provincialism, which so often rose to war in history and ignorance of the world around as a whole. You have experienced the plurality of this world, and this for you and for us is an enormous chance, but it turns for you into a lasting responsibility. And responsibility means today that you have to cooperate with many different people and controversial options. But at the end, it is you, very often, who have to take decisions in great solitude and isolation. And it belongs to this experience that this is very difficult, to make up your decision in controversy. This brings me to the final paragraph of the speech the former Federal Chancellor Helmut Schmidt delivered at a formal opening ceremony of this university in 2001. Helmut Schmidt ended by saying, "I wish you that in just a few years, your students will prove to be particularly competent, capable of independent achievement, able to form their own judgment, and able to lead others, which means prepared to take responsibility. Whether someone will work in biogenetics, will become the CEO of a bank, or someday will be Chancellor of Germany, or President of the United States, or lawyer or professor, they all have to assume responsibility. Nobody has only rights, everyone has duties as well, and any elite has to be an elite of responsibility. Even if I sincerely suppose that Helmut Schmidt's wishes for this university became true again today, for you as graduated students, But still, I guess that the chance that someone of this group will later become federal chancellor or president of the United States of America are less than marginal. I think, however, this is not important. It is not important how high you will climb up the career ladder or acquire high status, but how responsible you will act at the given place of your duty. In my age, you start to foresee the day on which you are more dependent on the responsible professionalism of a nurse rather than on a Secretary of State. I myself found it always strange if someone told me solemnly, I want to be a member of the elite. I want to be a leader. This to me always sounded not only a bit immature, because nearly nobody is perfect and able to live up to all the expectations. My own approach was rather like this, more self-ironically. Before someone takes the job who is even less capable than me, then I better apply myself. And whenever I took on a new responsibility, on the morning of the first day, to the astonishment of my kids, I raised the glass to the day on which I would be thrown out. Because everything in life is temporal. You better think of this in advance. This softens ambition to a tolerable and humane degree. Now, not to be mistaken, this is nothing to say against ambition in general. Only please keep in mind the distinction which I think Henry Kissinger once drew between the ambition to be and the ambition to do. At the end of the day, you will be judged by what you did for others, not what you were for yourself. Having studied here at the Jacobs University in Bremen, you all naturally know this already. It goes for you without saying. So, be proud of your achievement, strive on, and always remember that the humane pursuit of happiness encompasses much more than the simple pursuit of a career. Congratulations, and all the best for you.